Hey, thanks for listening to our podcast. If you want to listen live in the central Indiana area, you can hear us on 93.5 FM and 107.5 FM. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is the brand new quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. It is Philip Rivers joining us now. Philip, thank you for the time. How are you?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm doing well, thanks.
I do. I appreciate you jumping on here. I'm kind of curious, how fluid was this once free agency officially opened up? When was that moment you knew that the Colts would be the team for you?
Well, it went it went a few days or went a little while, so I wasn't never real sure until it finally opens up, and then my agent had some dialogue with them, and then they got quiet for a little bit. And, of course, there's other things they had going on. They're getting a big trade done for DeForest Buckner and certainly other moving parts. But, now I'm losing track of time. I guess it was Tuesday afternoon. As it kind of started moving, it was like, this looks like it's going to all work out. And certainly excited that it did.
Were you okay at the beginning, or was that part of the dialogue you had with the one-year deal?
I really didn't have I wasn't dead set on anything really. It was just kind of the way it worked out best for, I think both sides. And, I think it's clear. I said the other day, I hope it ends up being, more than that. But as we know, in this league is a year-to-year deal, and I think it where I am in my career, kind of one at a time is the best approach. But hopefully it's longer than that. But we're just going to focus on this 2020 season and try to keep improving, getting better, and see what happens.
It's Philip Rivers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It also was mentioned too when you did your teleconference, your press conference over the phone on Saturday that you did have some thoughts about, if you wanted to continue, and this is obviously before you made the Colts decision, but what were your thoughts like when you were kind of weighing the option of continuing on as an NFL quarterback or maybe stepping away from the game?
Well, I think I don't want to lend any false info that I gave it real thought, like I was really contemplating retirement. I don't think that ever even got to that point, but I think it was kind of really the first year where it was in the discussion, just as a family, like, well, shoot, if it is it's okay, more coming to grips with being at peace with that. But I think I knew right off the bat early on that I wanted to continue playing. But it's also, that again, is also a two-sided deal. There's 32 teams out there. There was, 31 others that you knew, and some are already you knew were no shot. So I think it was a matter of who may want you to continue, and then if that part fits, the desire for mine was there, and then it's excited with how it ended up being the Colts. I'm just super fired up and thankful that it's this organization with this coaching staff and this locker room, which I've yet to meet, but looking forward to meeting soon.
He is Philip Rivers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, and you've been in a place forever, basically. I mean, your entire career, and then you got to all of a sudden change. And I'm just to assume here, and you can maybe go a little bit further on it. I'm assuming that because Frank is here and Nick is here, that makes this transition a hell of a lot easier than it might have been anyplace else. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it definitely helps. It's definitely a big help. I think from a standpoint, because we've been in the week-to-week preparation process together. We've been in the heat of the battle on Sunday afternoons together, and had some awesome highs and lows. So we've communicated all those things. So it certainly gives you a level of comfort there and confidence that you can work well together. So that certainly helps. But I tell you, I don't want to short the other parts of this Colts organization, both the from the management side of it, and also looking at this Colts team. I mean, this offensive line, the way they play together, and the players that they have in that group, this young defense, and mixed in with some veterans as well. The skill players, the running backs. I mean, it's a heck of a group. I mean, we played them week 1 last year, and it came down the wire. But seeing what they did going to Kansas City, I say we now. What we did, I wasn't part of it, but going to Kansas City and getting a win, and just the progress they made, just the direction they're headed, and I'm super excited to be a part of it.
Listen, I'm impressed that you made that transition to we so quickly, because that's a long damn time in Southern California for a guy right there.
It is a long time. I'm gonna practice that like crazy around the house to make sure I don't say, do y'all do this? Do y'all do it like this? I gotta make sure I speak as if I'm there, which I'm looking forward to being up there soon.
He is Philip Rivers, the new quarterback of the Colts on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Have you had a conversation with Jim Irsay yet?
I have. 2 days ago or so, 2 or 3 days ago. It was great. Gosh, the enthusiasm and excitement that I could hear just in a phone conversation, and certainly I expressed, and hopefully he heard the equal amount of excitement from my side just to be a part of it. And in a weird way, I mean, I've always been I can't say I've been a fan. That would make no sense. But I've always loved the Colts and coming to play there in Indy, and just the little bits and pieces, the times I've been around the town and been in and out of the area. It's just been. I've always just thought, man, what a great crowd, what a very respectful crowd, a passionate crowd, an intelligent crowd, just the whole. And so, and Mr. Irsay kind of echoed all those things I've thought. Certainly, he knows as well as anyone, and just his vision for this team. I think that they set the bar high. The expectations are high, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Well, I mean, really, and the crowd around here has watched you from afar, but got to know you up close and personal back in '08. So that's something we'd talked about around here a number of times, and I think that was the Billy freaking Volick game, was it not, back in '08 here?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Billy came in and finished that one off. If I remember right, it was the last game in the RCA Dome. But it was that was a heck of a game. It's so funny because I remember that game like it was yesterday. Obviously, the game which I tore my ACL. I threw a screen to Sproles and he scored, and I felt it go. And so we were walking off the field. I had plenty of interaction that game with the fans behind me. That's been documented, but I was walking off the field, getting close to the tunnel, and the fans were hollering at me as they should have been, and I'll never forget saying, "I'll be back, I'll be back," and I just never imagine it would ring this true that I'm actually 12 years later actually coming back to be a part of this team, and so I know I've been on the other side, and I know as there should be, there was probably some. Not so a lot of dislike, but I hope we can move past that in a hurry because I think what I've always found, anytime you sign a free agent, at least when we've brought in different guys that you played against or whatever, what you find is at least I hope there to be, and hopefully I can earn that quickly. There's that mutual respect that you have, but it's just been an opponent. Like, heck yeah, we're coming after you, and we don't like you. We're going to holler at you and fuss at you and let you hear about it. And then as soon as it's like, well, shoot, we're on the same team, it's like, man, let's go. This is awesome. I'm glad that's how I was able to reach out to Justin Houston and let him know that. I was like, man, I'm glad that you won't be chasing me anymore. I can actually watch you chase another quarterback and pull for you to go get it. So it is different for me. Shoot, like you said, 16 years, one place, but I'm super excited, super thankful. Our family's fired up and looking forward to it.
What's so funny about what you just said is somebody had actually called me, and because you had said I'll be back. And they had said they'd heard that I'll be back part. And that is so funny, considering now, as you mentioned, 12 years later, hell, you are back. Here you are. So that's interesting right there.
It's crazy. I tell you, the only as we all know, never played in the Super Bowl, never been in one, and never been to the game. But I've been to one Super Bowl city in all these years, and that was in Indianapolis. I was there just for a few days that week, and that was another reason that just kind of grew fond to the town and the environment. We drove. Hoosiers is one of my favorite movies. We drove out to where they shot the movie in that gym, whatever that was.
In Knightstown, Indiana, right?
Yeah. So. It's just a cool place. I'm just looking forward to it. I can't. It's sincere as I'm telling you. It's real, and we're excited, and hopefully, I know there's a lot going on in the world. Way more important right now and so many being affected. But certainly looking forward to when the time is right and things are back to normal to get up there and be a part of the community.
And Philip, I was going to ask you about that too. Getting acclimated in the time where we are right now is with a new team is incredibly difficult. Because we've never been down this. There's no playbook for this at all. How do you? What's the challenge here? How do you? And again, you know what Frank and what Nick what they do, but what's going to be the challenge here for you?
Yeah, I think just what you said, going back even to the earlier question about Frank and Nick and this offensive system. So had it been completely foreign, it would have even been a bigger challenge. But the fact that for the most part, again, there's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be tweaks here and there. It won't be exactly the same as it's been for me. But that familiarity with the language and how we do things does help the transition. But it is going to be a challenge. I think more than anything, it's that I love being a teammate. I love the camaraderie you build in the off season. You're out there lifting weights, you're running, you're throwing routes, you're talking about little nuances of routes. And, who knows how much of that we're going to get. That remains to be seen. But I've tried to reach out by text to a handful of guys. It's still super early. I mean, we wouldn't even be together until another month anyway. So we got plenty of time. You think back if it ends up being like the lockout year. Shoot, I think we're in camp like August 4th. Yeah. And you just went and you made it work. Everybody was kind of in the same boat. So whatever happens, we'll make it work. And I think everything I've heard from this locker room, the environment there, the culture, the way it is, it's not a broken place by any means. It is a place that is on the right track, and I just want to do my part to keep us going in the right direction.
He's Philip Rivers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Have you had any dialogue at all, or tried to reach out to Jacoby Brissett?
I have not yet. I'm sensitive to that, and I want to handle that in the right way. And I don't really know what that is at this point. Again, like I said, it's still early. I have a lot of respect for Jacoby. Obviously, both NC State guys. He finished up there at NC State, and certainly, I thought he did a heck of a job the way he handled the whole deal last year, getting thrown in there and competing. And obviously had a heck of a game week one last year. But all I've heard is nothing but great things about him as a player and a person. And so I'm confident in our dynamic and our relationship will be good. We'll work and compete like crazy. Our quarterback room over the last 16 years, we compete. We have a lot of fun, and we pull for one another. And I don't sense that it'll be any different. And we'll both work like crazy to help the Indianapolis Colts win a bunch of football games.
What's going to be the challenge to get the entire family here? What's the timeline on that, according to the Rivers clan here?
All 11 of us are coming, and they're all excited. I say 11. I have one that'll be a college freshman next fall, so that'll be a big step for us having the first one leave the house. But we were all fired up before all of it's changed in the last month to try to get up there by April 20th and 1st of May, and all of us get there so we could spend the off season there and kind of getting ourselves acclimated to the area and get everybody comfortable and settled in before the fall comes. So I don't know. I don't really know what it looks like. We're kind of on standby, but they're kind of I know some of my older girls and my wife are kind of chomping at the bit a little bit to get up there and see the area and get situated, figure out where we're going to live and all that. But when the time's right, we'll get up there. And I grew up in North Alabama, so it's only about 5.5 hours from where I grew up. So my parents are excited. My wife's parents are just south of Nashville, so it's really a great location from a standpoint of our whole family. And we are couldn't be more excited.
Are you originally from Huntsville or around there?
I'm from Decatur. So right
okay,
there.
Decatur.
Huntsville, Athens. Yeah, I went to Athens High School. Grew up in Decatur.
I'm a Cape San Blas vacationer for 8 years running, so we've been right down 65, right down the middle, and stopped at nearly every place along 65 in Alabama, especially northern Alabama. So
we are down here on the Gulf now, and I ran into in our neighborhood. There's a family that has students at Purdue, and I mean it wasn't 5 minutes after we agreed with the Colts that they said, hey, we're from Indy, we go to Purdue. So that was kind of cool. Ran to another guy yesterday, said, hey, we're from Indy, or is it Avon? That's right there close.
Yeah.
We're from Indy, big Colts fans. So it's been kind of cool even down here in the Gulf, getting a little Colts love down here. So,
yeah, well, I'm telling you this. You talked about 08, which is just kind of funny, but first time you throw a touchdown pass, all that's going to be forgotten, man. Come on. It is. Oh, everybody's going to forget all about it. Done. Nothing. So this is going to be good.
I believe it, and I hope so. And I think the one thing is that I think all the Colts do, but I know that they'll that I know that can be appreciated in this Midwest town of Indianapolis is, that the passion and the love to compete and the care of which the shoot that I'll play and bring each and every week can be appreciated there. And I know that we got high hopes, and everybody's fired up for awesome 2020 year.
I said this, and I'll let you go on it too. Now, Peyton Manning does this thing on ESPN. He's got to do one with you when we get things started here. You know what I mean? You and the guy, that'd be pretty awesome. I think we got to get that going.
That sounds good. That would be awesome. And I tell you, I was there in 04. Obviously, we played there. I wasn't starting. Drew was playing. It was either 04 or 05. And Peyton running the show in a no-huddle deal back then, I was a rookie, and Peyton was one of my favorites. I had a poster on the wall and the whole deal. And I just remember leaving that game going, that was about the coolest thing I've ever seen. And, as far as him running that, you could hear you can hear a pin drop in there. And that's why I was referencing back to the intelligent crowd. I mean, offense is out there. You can hear it all. So there's the ability to communicate at home is going to be awesome. So that's another thing on the long list of that. One of my all-time favorites. I'm getting to play at the shoot at the place where he's so shoot, as you know. I'm not telling you how he's thought of there and everywhere for that matter.
It's funny. In closing here, and I will let you go, that he's been on here a number of times, and I just let him go, and you rival this right now, because I think I could just let you go, and you could just do it for 30 minutes, and I could just lean back. You know what I mean? You guys rival one another in that category.
I can tend to ramble a little bit, but you and I'll do this again, hopefully a lot of times, and look forward to meeting you in person.
You got it. Hey, congratulations on everything, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you, Philip.
All right. Thank you.
Philip Rivers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline.